Hey everybody, it's Brian. Welcome to another weekly preview. I'm Brian, the host of this little show. It's week 12, so let's get an idea of what we need to do this week. And I'm going to go over it in very broad terms, so let's get started. Once you get up in the Blackboard, head over into the weekly assignments area. And then once you get there, you'll see an area called lesson plans. Since we start week 12 on Monday 4/20, that's the one that you want to hit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So everything you need to do is on the week 12 page. And what happens here is it has a listing of lecture, of what to do, lecture, new assignment materials, and then turn-in links. All that stuff is below as you scroll. And I'm going to go over this very broadly. So as you can see here at the very top is pulled from the revised schedule. This is week 12, and basically we have a couple things that we're doing this week. One is a reading and a set of notes, and then another is a discussion board, which is meant to simulate the discussions that we'd have in class on an article. We're also going to use that space to be able to grab information a little bit later on from our peers for our interviews. So make sure you do that. The what to do summary contains a listing of what's going to be due for the week. As you guys can see here, it's in a little bit more detail. And then as I scroll down here is the workshop for instruction sheet. And here is, as you guys have seen before this whole COVID-19 thing, is I would give you this sheet, it would be handed out, and we would put due dates in, right? We would all handwrite that stuff down. So it's the same exact thing here. The stuff that's been highlighted, obviously, and crossed out is stuff that we're not going to be doing. And anything that's like yellow without crossed out is just further explanations of how we're going to do things in this COVID-19 world. So things that we've seen before, like descriptions of reading notes and how journals work, all that stuff is here. Summary evaluation as well. And here's the essay assignment, which has to do with the idea of education. So we're going to get into that in the lecture, which you're going to read about on your own, which we'll go over very briefly. But here's the starter focus question for the workshop. What are some challenges that students face in 2020? And in fact, there are many, as we've all discovered the last couple of weeks. This is a paper that's going to use 6 total sources, and those are defined here. I'm going to go ahead and close this document out and let you look at this in more detail on your own. So this is right below the instruction sheet. It kind of gives you a heads up on the pacing of assignments over the next couple of weeks. So in week 12, we're going to do the notes and the discussion board, as I just mentioned. And then the next week, in week 13, we're going to be doing, as you guys can see, the journal and summary and evaluation assignment. And then the week after that, we'll do the rough draft and the final draft of the essay in week 14. So the next thing we see is the week 12 lecture. And as I click into this, there are more specific details here about introducing this idea of education in 2020. And as you go through, you can scroll down. There's a YouTube video to look at. There's a shared spreadsheet that my previous classes have completed about college costs, which you guys can get into. And we're going to introduce something called a common ground statement, which you can see right here. I'm going to go back one more. So that's the lecture. Going through that should take you about 5 or 10 minutes. So below that then is the workshop for reading assignment for the notes that are due this week. And so the article is called The Struggle is Real, and the author is Laura Harrison, and she's an English professor who took a college class, and she had a hard time. Keep in mind this is all pre-COVID-19 stuff, so it's different than where we are now. But your labor for reading this and doing notes is half-hour tops. Then, when you're actually ready to turn in your notes, the turn-in link is right below that. So you click into this thing right here, take a picture of your notes, and you can upload those. And you do so by clicking Browse My Computer, and that'll get the notes to me, Brian, for assessment. I'm going back one more. And then the final thing we do this week is class discussion on the idea of education. And those questions to answer are right here in bullet form. You go ahead and click this link right here, and it'll take you to the discussion board. And keep in mind, you won't be able to see anybody's posts until you actually make a post, and then you can see what other people have said. The actual work, due dates for this, as you guys can see for the notes, Sunday, next Sunday, 11:59 p.m. for the notes, and also for the discussion board as well. Responses for the discussion board are optional, as you can see here, but it's always nice to say hello to people you might remember from class. So that's the week 12 preview. I hope you're doing well. Take care, and hit me up with questions you have by email or Google Voice text, whatever works best for you, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.